Everybody, welcome to Fab Fit Friday. We are going to work on fitting our muslins today. I was really excited last week to get going with the sleeve drafts. Well, not the sleeve draft, but to measure and do the back. And then when I was, doing my own, I realized that I needed to really make sure my muslin fit before I started working on the sleeve. And of course, um, you know, that's what happened. So we're going to kind of backtrack. Technically, we probably should have started working with the fitting in part 3, and then next week could have been part 4, which would be the sleeve measurements. But that's okay. We can do things a little bit out of order. I'm just cleaning my glasses. Okay. Oops. They're very smudgy. Ooh, that's better. I can see now. All right, so I don't know if you can see me, but, well, I can. I'm going to stand up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stand up and show you my new muslin that I made. Let me just show this to you. All right, I didn't put the lines on it. Hi, Christine. Welcome. I think it's just you and me right now. But I want to show you, I did some adjusting to my pattern, and I'm going to show you those adjustments. I'm going to talk a little bit about how to adjust. But basically, let's look at the front. Hi, Karen. Welcome. Oh, Karen's from Massachusetts. She's like almost my neighbor. All right, so here's my front. And then I'm going to show you my back. Here's my back. Okay. It feels awkward on me because I'm not used to having my hem, end right at my exact waist. So I keep feeling like I want to pull it down. So just know I'm not gonna make a top from this basic bodice sloper. I'm going to adjust it into something, that's more flattering, but we have to work on what's below the waist before we do that. But in any case, I'm super excited because this muslin fits me so much better, and now I think I really am ready for, I'm ready for the sleeve really now. Let me just stop and say hi to Diane Bacon. Hello. Hi, Julie Harrison. Welcome. Happy Friday. Continuing to be inspired and excited to try this process. Ooh, I'm so excited to hear that. Karen says, yay, let's do a meetup. Yes, maybe we should do a meetup. That's so fun. Karen lives in the next state over, but in New England, all the states are really tiny. So, so we're pretty close. Let me just say to Moira. Hi, Moira. Very excited to be joining you from the UK. Well, welcome, welcome, welcome. I am really excited. So the one thing is, you can see I have my window open back there. I've got a fan going, and actually my daughter Anna has a fan as well. So we have like dueling fans going. So I have my little Rode microphone right in front of my face. So I just want to do a sound check. Can everybody hear me okay with the fans going? It's a little warm in here, so I'm really hoping I can keep my fan. So I'm lucky because I have a fabric store in Connecticut. It's on the Silestine Highway in Rocky Hill, and the name of it is Affordable Fabric. And they have really inexpensive fabric. The prices are going up, so some of the fabric costs $4.99, but some of the other fabrics are $2.99. So I went there yesterday and I purchased probably, I don't know, the end of whatever was on this bolt. So yards and yards of this cotton shirting. And then I also bought 2 different, you can see it over here, 2 different pants fabrics, because I don't know if you're following along with me, but I'm also working on a pants fitting series during Fit Tip Tuesday. So I went and bought like close to 30 yards of fabric. So I have plenty to play with now without having to scrounge around in my stash, because I've blown through a lot of my, muslin type fabrics. Oh, I'm so happy to see you guys can hear me. Maura says, sounds good. Rena says, here again, working and watching again. You can hear me. Patty says, sound is good. And I'm doing that because every now and then I get an email from someone who says, oh, I wish I could hear you. So I just want you to know, if you're watching this and you can't hear me, my live members can. So I'm really not sure how to fix low audio. But I've really been struggling to keep, you know, to keep my thing. I feel like I should have like this fancy, I'd like to get my microphone suspended from the ceiling so I could be like talk radio. That would be really fun. But, you know, I'm hoping this is good. I will tell you, my husband is a professional videographer, editor, lighting, sound, everything. So he set me up the best that he could with his professional equipment. So I'm really hoping everybody can hear me. All right, so now I am going to show you that my muslin from my, you know, the one I've been working on. I'm going to show it to you. It's pretty rough looking. It's been sweated on and it's gross. But we're going to work with this now, and I'm going to give you some tips for fitting your muslin. So that's what we're going to do now. Oh, hi, Christine. Oh, we have two Christines here. We have Christine I and Christine McClendon. So welcome, welcome, welcome. All right, so here's what we're going to do. I'm going to switch my view over to the table view. And you can see here, I think I mentioned it in the beginning of this series, I am working with, for fitting, I'm going to use the Coordinated Fit by Jan Minot. And the reason why I like this is, you can see she chunks up the front and back bodice into sections, and then basically she slides them around to get the fit that you need. So that's what I'm going to be referring to show you some things, and then we can fit our muslins. So to prepare my pattern, and I've already adjusted, what did I do with my, hold on one second, I had, here, hold on one second. What did I do? I had my mini bodices. I think I might have to, what did I do with them? I'm going to have to print out a second set because I lost my bodices. Hold on one second. I can print them while I'm talking, but I want to show you what I did to my bodice, and then I'm going to show you on some mini pieces. So just hold on one second here. All right, so let me just print these. I'm sorry. All right, hold on one second. I gotta... All right, so I'm gonna print these out. Okay. All right. Sorry about that. All right. Okay, so this is my pattern, and this is actually my pattern after I adjusted it. So this muslin right here is the one I was wearing last week. I took the sleeve off because I realized I wanted to fit it better, and then I'm going to redraft my sleeve, and then I'm going to show you guys how to do that next week. But basically, what I did was I sectioned my front and back pattern pieces just like this. So see this diagram? You're going to draw a vertical line from, you know, a couple, you know, maybe 1.5 inches from your armhole straight down to the hem. You're going to do that in the front and the back. I'm not going to worry about having two different sections in the front yet because we only have a waist start. So you're going to basically just do this to both your front and back. So you're going to have the vertical line, and then you're going to split it at the straight part of the armhole and then also a little bit below the base of the armhole. Okay, and you can see here, that's what I did. So the blue lines on here are my lines that I created sections. So I had a line here, here, and here. So section 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and this is 0 for some reason. And then I did the same thing in the front. I had my vertical line through the armhole and then below the armhole. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 0. All right, so that's how I sectioned my pattern apart to do the fitting. And let's look at what I changed, and then I'm going to show you how it looks already adjusted, and then I'm going to show you how to adjust it on my little mini pieces. So basically here, I just want to show you, let's zoom in a little bit. Okay, so the first thing is, I think it's a good idea to stay stitch the neckline and armholes. I still have not stay stitched my armholes, but I will when I take this one off. But basically this will keep your neckline from stretching out. The other thing is, if there's something going on in the back, like I had, when I really looked at my back, I had a wrinkle that was pooling like this across my shoulder blades up near the base of my neck. The first thing I thought of was maybe the seam allowance is too high up on my neck, so I clipped it to relax it, and that actually helped a little bit. So if you're looking at your back view and you see, you see straining across your back, like underneath the base of your back neckline, the first thing to check is make sure the neckline seam allowance isn't pushing against your neck, depending on where it's positioned. Now that did not completely fix my problem. You'll notice I have this pleat I took, about 4 inches, 5 inches below my neckline. I ended up removing 1.25 inches of fabric at the center back, and that actually smoothed it out. So what was happening was my neckline, my back neckline was just too high, so it was jammed up against my neck, even though I had clipped the seam allowances. So you want to get a good look at yourself front and back, and you want to really sort of evaluate the fit. You want to look at where your shoulder, your armhole ends and where the tip of your shoulder is. That's another thing I had to fix. My armhole was hanging off my shoulders 3/4 inch. So you can see here, I pleated out 3/4 inch. And basically what I did was I took my muslin like this, and I pinched out the amount I needed at the shoulder, and then I blended to 0 at the level where this horizontal line is. So basically I went to 0 at the straight part of the armhole. I pleated out the 3/4 inch up here, and then in the back I went down to 0 again. And you can see that right here. So if I lay it like this, see how the pleat is here and it goes to 0, and then in the back it goes to 0 as well. So that's how I took up my shoulder. So that was another thing I had to do. Let me just stop and say hi to Andrea. Good morning, Andrea, and good evening, Lean. This is so exciting. I love all these time zones we have going on here. Let me just mix the water. All right. So for me, most of my fitting was in my shoulders and the back length below the neckline. And the other thing that was happening for me is when I stood up and looked at my darts, you can see they're angling in. You want your dart to be straight. Now this is not a huge deal because I would never sew a top with just one big honkin' waist dart like this. If you look how big my waist dart is, it's gigantic. It's 5.5 inches at the waist seam allowance where you would sew. That's huge. So if I wanted the shape here, I would probably split it. Like, I'm going to show you how to rotate darts later in this series. So you can take some of the dart at your waist and put it up into the bust dart, or you could rotate some of the waist into a front shoulder dart, or you could extend that even farther and make that a princess seam. So there's all sorts of things we can do with this dart. But for now, I wanted it to be straight. Oops. So I just sort of looked in the mirror where it would be straight, and I realized I had to move the dart legs or shift the dart legs over towards the side seam 1.5 inches. So those are the things that I had to change. Other than that, everything else I think is going to be okay. Again, the base of my armhole, you have to remember there's a 1/2 inch seam allowance there as well that will be gone when you attach your sleeve. So I am not going to lower my armhole or worry about that quite yet. It feels like it's pretty high up there, but I do want a fitted sleeve, so I'm going to leave that for the moment. Let me just stop here. Oh, Super Seamstress Sewing Show. Hey, J Stern Designs from Bakerfield, California. Welcome. Okay, so here's my tortured muslin. And the other thing I did, and I did this last week, was I took the shoulder seam and I picked it up. So you can see here, I actually took it up like 1/4 of an inch or 3/8 of an inch from the original seam at the armhole. So I had fixed that during the live stream last week, so that I did not have to fix. But let's take a look here. I'm going to move my muslin out of the way. All right, so, well, actually, let me keep my muslin. Let's work with the back first. So in the back, this right here is the amount that I had to lower my the length in the back to keep my neckline from jamming up against me. And on the muslin, it looks like, let me just show you. Okay, so it looks like this pleat right here. And then here is how I took it out. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to fix that. Okay. All right, so let's start with the front. I'm going to have to add a dart to the front before we work with it, but let's just start with this. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw the quadrants that you might, that might help you adjust things here. So first I'm going to draw this line. Oops. And then I'm going to draw this line. And then I'm going to draw this line. Oops. Okay, so these are your quadrants. So this is going to be number 1, this is going to be 0, this is going to be 2, 3, 4, and 5. And of course, we have a back waist dart. I'm just going to draw that in so we have it in there. So there's my little back waist dart. All right, so that's how the muslin looks. And the first thing I'm going to show you here is I had to lower this back neckline 1.25 inches, because what you want to do is if you sew a pleat or something into your muslin to test it, you then measure. So from here to here is 1 5/8, so that when you double it is 3/4 of an inch. I'm sorry, 1 1/4 inch. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I am going to make myself a little guideline, and I'm going to make it fairly substantial for this size. Oops. So this is technically right here what we want to get rid of. Okay. Just make this a little bit lighter. Hold on. Ooh, sorry everyone. I'm just realizing it's a little bit dark. There we go. Okay, so we want to get rid of this to pull the neckline down. So what I'm going to do here is I am going to cut out, well, I'm going to cut like this. And then basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to slide it down that amount. So see, what we did was we got rid of what was screwing up my neckline. Okay, now you'll notice here we have a huge truing up thing to do. And basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to reconnect the original neckline to the original shoulder. Okay, so basically I'm just going to reconnect that. Okay, and it's going to look like that. Now, this is what I did here is a huge amount for this size pattern. So if we look at my pattern, you can see it still has an angle. It still angles up. You know, on this tiny one, it's looking like the shoulder is flat, but you know, that's because this is a tiny little sample here. Basically, that's how you get rid of extra vertical length if you have that on your back neck. And again, the way that's going to show up is it's going to show up like a you know, if you look at yourself across the you know, in the back mirror, it's going to look like it's pooling like this. You're going to see wrinkles going all the way across your back. Okay, and you'll be able to see them even if you look from the side. And it's because it's jamming up on your neck. And I just want to show you in this book. See, this whole book is all about sliding the pieces around to get it to fit you. So I just want to find where I fixed that. Hold on. I should have marked the page. Okay, so see right here? This little diagram right here where you get those little stress wrinkles right at the base of the neck. That's exactly what I had. So after I lowered it, they went away. So let me see if I can show you that again. Hold on. I'm just gonna swivel myself around so you can see. I don't really have any pleats or stress marks, you know, going across my back anymore. I do think my back might be a tad, you know, too snug, but we'll see. But basically, I got rid of, you know, most of that. When I looked at the screen, when I turned around, I can see there's still a tiny one there. And I think that might be because I have to let the center back seam out a little bit, because it feels, you know, do this and feel. If it feels like it's straining across your back, you can let it out down the center a little bit too to add room. So part of it was vertical, but then also I think I may have to let that out later. But that's how that looks. So you can see that's how you fix that. All right, so then the next thing I did was I had to shorten my shoulder. Now that's going to involve shortening the front and the back. So while we're on the back, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to use the line between 1 and 2. Whoops, I'm sorry. I'm going to use the line between 1 and 2 here to do that. So I had to shorten my shoulder 3/4 of an inch, but I'm just going to make a 1/4 inch here because this is such a tiny scale. Okay, so we want to get rid of this because it's too long. So what I'm going to do is I am going to cut again here, and I'm going to cut this off here. Okay, and that's going to allow me to just slide this right in like this. And you can see what it's doing is it's shortening the shoulder. Now, because I have two things that I'm adjusting that affect the shoulder, you know, and if you have that too, you can true up after, you know, you're done if you want to wait. But you can see that my original truing up actually worked for this adjustment as well. You can see we have a big issue right here. Put some tape. Okay, so see right here, that's a big issue. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find the middle of it. I'm going to add above, and I'm going to trim away underneath. Something like that. And if I use my, what do I do with my ruler? Hold on. Oh, here. I'll just use this little French curve. I'm just gonna, you know, kind of smooth it out here. Okay, whoops. So that kind of trues up the armhole. Okay, so now that's all nice and set. And I'm gonna, let me just highlight that in pink so you can see the final answer. So my final armhole is gonna do this. Okay, so there it is, all nice and fixed up. And my shoulder is here. Okay, and I got rid of fabric here. So that's how I adjusted the back. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to adjust the front. Now the first thing I'm going to do here is, here's my front. And my front is facing the opposite way. So I'm going to, of course, I should have thought of this before I came on, I'm sorry. I'm basically going to trace through like this. So then we can see it like this. So now it's facing the right way. And to create that waist start, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, well, I think what I'm going to do just for this, I'm just going to draw it in and we're going to kind of pretend. So I'm just going to swing this out like this. And then I'm going to draw a waist start just so we have one. Of course, it's not going to be as big as, you know, something like this. All right, so now we've got a front bodice that looks like the one we're working on. Okay, there we go. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make my same quadrants. So again, we're going to have, do those in blue this time, through here, through here, and then here. Okay, so again, we've got 1, 2, 0, 3, 4, and 5. Okay, so those are our quadrants to adjust the front. And in the front, the first thing I did was I wanted to just readjust my waist start. So I measured over towards the side the amount I needed to move it. You know, and I marked it. Let me not use pink now. Let me use a different color. I'll just do the black pen. So what I did was I just shifted it over. So I'll just put a mark here. So if I move it over that much there, I have to move this one as well. And then I just redrew it. Okay, so that's how I shifted the dart. So now it's this black line. Here, I'll highlight it here. So that's my new dart, the yellow. Okay. And the other thing I had to do in the front was shorten my shoulder. Because remember, if you shorten the shoulder in the back, you have to shorten it in the front because this sews together. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to measure. What did I'm just looking to see. I want to make it uniform here. So, oh, 1/4 inch. Okay. So I'm just going to draw my 1/4 inch line like this. Okay. And then I'm going to cut out quadrant number 2. And I'm basically going to slide that in. Okay, and then I'm going to true it up the exact same way I did the back. I'm going to find the center right here, and I'm going to add, whoops, add to the bottom, and I'm going to trim away, I'm trimming away the bottom, and I'm adding to the top. So there is my completed armhole, this adjustment right here, so this yellow part. Okay, so that's how I had to adjust my muslin. So I guess what I want to do is I want to ask now if anybody is following along with me and you have a fitting issue with your muslin. Does anyone want to share or ask me how to adjust something specific that I did not cover? We did the slope of the shoulder, or you know, picking up the armhole side of the shoulder last week. I showed you how to get rid of length at the center back now. I showed you how to shorten the shoulder now. I showed you how to fix the orientation of the bust dart to make sure it looks straight. Does anybody have any questions? Or I think someone mentioned to me actually about a high round back. So let me show you that one, because that's an issue for people. And I'm just gonna, I printed out two, so let me show you here. If you have a high round back, I'm not going to draw the quadrants on it, because for this adjustment, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to show you here that if your neckline is pulling down, or if you notice the hem on your center back is picking up, and you know you have a curve to the top of your back, you need more length and shape in the center back seam. Let me just stop and say hey to Yuri the Dreamer. Welcome. So that's a thing that we can fix as well, and it's really actually very, very easy. I'm going to trim off this extra fabric here, extra paper here. I'm going to use it. Now, the whole goal is to raise this up and create curve at the center back. So what I'm going to do here is, I see that Karen asked a question. I'm going to answer her in 1 second. Let me just finish this first. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to draw myself some guidelines, and you know, I sometimes will say to people, when you have to add ease, you don't necessarily need to make a lot of slash marks to spread to create that ease. But when we're working with a high round back adjustment, we want to create a curved shape here. So if I just make one slash and spread, I could lengthen it the amount I need, but I'm not going to get a nice shape. So that's where we're going to split what we're doing into a few different slashes to create a curve. Okay, so what I want to do here is I want to just create maybe 3 slashes like this, all up near where the curve of your back is. So you can look at a side view or in a double mirror and see where your curve is. You're going to create some slash marks, and then what you're going to do is you're going to slash through to the armhole, but not through the armhole, and you're going to create a pivot at the armhole. So let me just get rid of some of that paper, and then I can create pivot here. So see, what we can do now is see how we can spread this and create not only length, but also a shape. See how it's curving now? So basically, this is a really easy adjustment, and if you have a piece of paper that's wide enough, you can slash it all at once and then tape it down all at once like this. Okay. Now, if you're wondering how much you need to spread, your indicators are, see how much the center back hem is picking up from your waist in the back, because you can add that amount of length here, or you can look and see what your neckline is doing if it's pulling down. But usually it'll show up picking up at the bottom edge. So, you know, just whatever you decide, just make sure all your slash marks here add up to the amount you need to add. Okay, and then that will give you the length you need, and it will also allow the back neckline to sit properly. So that's a high round back. And now let's look and see what Karen is asking me. Karen is asking, Karen says, please, I always have gapping in the front neckline in the front. How do I get rid of the fullness? Okay, so if your front neckline is gapping away from you, that means you have extra in here. Okay, so if everything else is sitting right, the first thing you want to do is make sure that your shoulder is sitting correctly, you know, and you don't need to change the slope of your shoulder. If your shoulder is correct, but you just have extra, you know, neckline gapping, it doesn't matter even what the shape of the neckline is. So let's say you're working with a top that has a V-neck. A lot of times V-necks gap away too. So here's what you're going to do to fix that. Let me switch my view here. Hold on. Okay, so what you're going to do is you're actually going to draw yourself. I think the easiest thing to do would be to draw yourself a diagonal line like this. Somewhere, you know, pinch where it's gapping on you, and that's where you want to position the slash here, and then just bring it down to your side seam. So what you're going to do here is you're going to remove the amount you pinched, so it's going to be something like this. Okay, so let's say you pinched that amount total. That's what you're going to get rid of. So what you're going to do is you're going to slash one, create a pivot at the side seam, okay, and then you're just going to get rid of it like this. And this is really called contouring, okay? A lot of times if you have an open scoop neck or a, you know, a V-neck, it can gape away from you. You need to contour that edge and pull it in just a little bit so there is an extra there. And that usually happens like if you have a hollow, you know, it fills in the hollows of your body is what it does. So it may be that you have a shallow, you know, chest, or, you know, you just don't need as much measurement around your neckline. So that's how you get rid of that. And then you would just true that up like that. So that's how you fix that. Okay, that's good. Karen said her shoulder was okay. So Karen, that's how you fix your neckline. And let's see, Moira says, I have difficulty getting a shirt collar to sit properly at the front of my neckline. The collar seems to pull back, and the lengthening the back bodice helps, but doesn't completely fix it. What do you think? Okay, so if the collar is pulling to the back, it could be that your back is too short, and it might not be just lengthening the back bodice. You might need to lengthen the back shoulder as well, because you don't have enough fabric coming up, you know, from like at the base of your neck coming around to the front is too short, and so it's pulling to the back. So it's not just lengthening, you know, the back at the center back, but actually you need more back neckline so it's sitting right. And so that's really not the collar's fault, it's where the neckline is. So make sure your neckline is sitting comfortable before you even get to the collar. You can see that my neckline is just sitting there perfectly. It's comfortable on my shoulder. Nothing is pulling. It's not pulling to the back. It's not pulling to the front. So that could be what's happening. If you look at your side view, let me go this way. If the ball of your shoulder is forward, okay, like the actual physical joint, sometimes if you're looking at the angle of your neck to your ball, if it's over here, then that means you need to lengthen your whole back and shorten your front, because you don't need as much fabric here, but you need more to come around to meet it. So it's all about getting that balance to what's going on with your body, making sure you have enough to get around your neck in the back. So I hope that helps. Let me see here. So on a back, let me just show Moira one thing here. So let's say you're having that issue where it's pulling down. It may be that you need to actually do something like this. You know, add more shoulder at the neckline like that. And that will give you more room so it doesn't pull to the back. So that's if you need more room there. Now, if it's pulling to the back and you add this room, then you have to really try and see if when you then reattach it to your front, it may be that in the front, I'll just cut this extra off here. When you put them together, oops, it may be that you need all of your front. So meaning you added this wedge right here in the back to reach around your neck, right? And then you can leave the front alone because you needed it. But it may be that, if your front is too long, you could also shorten your front. But you have to try it on first to see. Don't automatically cut off the front until you test it. You know what I mean? So I think that will help you, Moira. Let me know if that makes sense to you. Perma Pen UK says, London, UK, taking a break from trouser crotch shaping to learn more nerdy stuff about bodices. I think that's wonderful, Perma Pen UK. You do know if you follow along with me, you do know I'm also doing pants fitting on my Fit Tip Tuesday. So I'm actually working both ends of the body at the same time here. I'm having a ball. Andrea says, when doing the high round back adjustment, I feel I need to do a sway back adjustment after rather than before doing the neck adjustment. All right, so Andrea's talking about, so if you do a high round back, so we've done this curvy thing here, but then let's say you have extra length or fabric puddling in the small of your back. That would be a sway back where you need to shorten the length here. So it maybe you need to curve it here, and then to get rid of the sway back, you find where that is on your muslin and you draw yourself a line. And actually, we're going to do the reverse thing for the sway back. We're going to cut through the center back and make a hinge at the side seam, and then we're going to overlap. So let's say we're going to get rid of this much here. Okay, so you could do this, and you're going to see what's happening here is I'm going to have almost an S shape center back seam. And this is really why I think, especially if you're making a fitted garment, I think having a center back seam is really critical to getting a good fit, because see how now I've shaped that center back seam to fit a curvy back. So if you need it to be, shorter down here, but longer over here, you can do that. Okay, so let's see here. All right, so, Karen says, it happens with all neckline shapes. This was great. Oh, good. Just so you know, Andrew, you really can use, Karen, you really can use this method to take out the gapping of any neckline. You know what I mean? Just make sure you point it to where you're pleating it out. So let's say you pleat it right here. Just wherever you can pleat it out, wherever you pleat it out on your muslin, that's where you would point your slash to. Okay, so let me see here. Susan Webb says, showing up late from Chicago. Hello, welcome, welcome, welcome. Oh, and Moira says that was helpful, good. Lean says, I took away at center front to tackle my gapping neckline. My upper bodice was too wide. All right, so if you I mean, a lot of things could be going on. So notice, like here with me, if I had gapping here, I would have to do it the way I just showed because I cannot remove any across my full bust. If your whole front is too big and you can pleat it out and still have enough, you can absolutely take in this whole front if your whole front is too wide. So definitely you can do that. If the whole thing is loose, just take it off the center front, absolutely. But just make sure you have room in your bust and your waist and your tummy, all those areas, and it's not just that you needed to get rid of it here. What I showed with the diagonal slash is just, you're basically getting rid of it here and then you're slashing across, you know, and by the time you get to the side, there's almost none, you know, none that you're removing. So these are really good questions. I'm excited. All right, so does anybody else have anything they want to ask in terms of how to adjust their bodice? I will tell you, if you get this book, you can definitely fix anything from this book. This book is amazing. And the reason why I like it is because it's really simple and straightforward, and it has little wrinkle drawings, which I think are really helpful. So, you know, like even, let's like look through it here for a second. Hold on. Okay, so like at the beginning of the book, we have, you know, all the information about making a standard sloper, you know, and she also shows how to make measurements here, and, you know, all these different things. And then, you know, she shows you how to prepare your bodice and then how to change everything, and she labels everything, and she's got a really good way of, you know, just making it very user friendly. But I really like the fact that she'll put wrinkles and so on and so forth. Oh, Karen says, tried to find the book, but it was so expensive, even used. Where did I get, hold on one second. Hold on here. Let me look in my messaging here. I think, hold on here. I was working with one of my private students. She had sent me, hold on. Hold on. Just give me 1 minute. If I can't find it fast, I'm gonna, I think she had a link for a digital. Oh, wait a minute. Hold on. Let me look in our group. You know, I have a Facebook group called J Stern Designs Fit Sew Embroider, and in that group, I think someone shared links to the book. Let me see. Hold on. Oh, just hold on 1 second here. I'm sorry. I'm just trying to find. All right, I don't know if I can find it really fast. If I can find good links to the Jan Minot book, I will put them there for people. There's a lot of fun on my channel. Some people are sending pictures of their pants drafts, so I'm helping them with that. Oh, wait a minute. Here we go. Okay, so see this right here. All right, so here is a place online, and it's the, wait a minute, archive.org. So if you go to archive.org, Internet Archive, you can download, let me see. you can download, I think you can download it. Let's see. Let me see here. All right, I'm just checking to see if it actually download. Oh, what does that say? Oh. All right, well, it's not working. Let me see here. What did people say? Oh, wait. Okay, hold on. Here's a free version of Jan's fitting book. Let me click on that. So it looks like, oh, look it. I'm turning the pages. Wait. Let's just look at this for a second. Hold on. Look, there's the book. Oh, is that the whole thing? Oh, it's only showing us a little bit page, but there are 260 pages. Show more. File. Oh, and there's links to a 19-page PDF from the University of Minnesota, too. Oh, this is Wanda Johnson. It's different, but that's kind of cool. All right, so I will put these links in the description below this video after I get off, but there's got to be ways to get it. I found mine on eBay, and it was only like $20. So I would check eBay too to see if people are selling old used copies. And it was really kind of funny because one of my books had a bookmark in it from like, it was from like I want to say I want to say Covenant. Like it was from a place where nuns live, and it was from their library, and it had like a little bookmark with a little cross on it. It was very sweet. So I would check eBay too, because that's where I got both of my books. I mean, and of course I've had these for years, so I haven't looked lately, but oh, you looked on eBay. All right, I'm going to do some more research and see if I can figure this out for you guys. Maybe it's just getting to the point now where it's so old it's just hard to find, because like I said, I've had my copies for a while. So if you're oh wait, let me just Lean says, same problem of gapping back neckline. Is it possible to make the shoulder dart bigger? Okay, so the shoulder dart has nothing to do with the gapping neckline, but you could do the same adjustment I did in the front, in the back. Let me just hold on here. So, Karen, are you part of my J Stern Designs Fit So? Oh, Covenant. That's the word, right? Thank you, Susan. Oh, yes. Oh, convent. Oh my God. Yes, convent was what I was trying to say. All right, I'm all over the map here. Regroup. So I just want to show you. If your back neckline is gapping, you can do the same thing. You can just draw yourself a guideline from, to this, to the side to where it is, and overlap it, just like you did in the front. Right, so you can just cut this, pivot here, and then just close it a little bit to get rid of that. And then true it up. So you can do that in the back as well. Okay. All right, so, please let me know if, let's say you're watching me on the replay and you're following along and you're making your bodice like I am, and you have fitting questions, post those comments in under the video, and I will keep checking back to see. It may be that I actually have a video to show you how to do these adjustments too. I have a lot of shirt fitting adjustments already on my YouTube channel, so I might be able to refer you to a tutorial, or I can describe or explain how to fit your bodice if you are watching the replay and you weren't here to ask me live. So yeah, so that's super exciting. I will tell you, like I said, I don't know if you guys are aware, but I'm doing a pants fitting series on my Fit Tip Tuesdays, and it's it all started with um, listening to all of the, what do I want to say, like controversy about scooping the crotch or not scooping the crotch, and methods that do and don't, and what's right and what's wrong and all that other stuff. And so I'm doing a series, and part of the series is I'm going to be testing the top down center out method of pants fitting by Ruth Collins. And I have to say, the more I work with it, the more I'm loving it. So I will be reviewing it next week on Fit Tip Tuesday, so definitely check that out. Um, and, you know, if you're following along with me with the bodice, please reach out to me if you need help fitting it, because next week I will add sleeves to this muslin, and I will show you how to draft the sleeve next Friday. So that's what we're going to be doing here. And I hope you're enjoying the last, I don't want to say last few weeks of summer. It blows my mind that summer's almost over. It seems like it just started. So, and of course it's so warm here. Maybe we'll have a nice balmy September. I don't know. We'll see. But you know, I'm enjoying my swimming pool in the backyard. That's been my total vacation time. Has been my little floating around. But anyway, so I want to thank you guys for joining me, and I really want to thank you for drafting along with me. I'm going to do a little research to see if I can find a source for that, those Jan Minot books, and I will post those if I can find it. Oh, Rena says Threads Magazine has a podcast with the author. Yes, she does, and I meant to put the link to that under Tuesday's video. Someone asked me about it, so if you look in the comments, I put the link in there, and then I forgot to put it under the description, but I will. Also, she wrote an article, and the article is in this issue. Okay, so I really want to just impress upon you guys that you know, free content is wonderful, and you know, I love to do free content. But always, also, if people stop subscribing, you know, don't renew their subscriptions or don't subscribe to Threads Magazine and support these kinds of magazines, eventually they might have to close up shop. And I guarantee you, the minute that happens, everybody's going to be really sad. So I highly recommend checking out Threads and considering to subscribe to it, because not only do you get great articles on how to do stuff, but you get new pattern reviews, new notion reviews, plus the advertisers in here are bringing you, it is such a great sewer experience, because you can see advertisements from all of your favorite companies, and maybe you'll see something new that you haven't seen before. So if you're looking for the article for the top down center up method, it's in this copy. Another copy has come out since, so it's not on the newsstand anymore, but this is the copy, and I will put the link to her podcast underneath this video, plus I'll go back and put it on my Fit Tip Tuesday. Oh, Karen has a extra copy of this magazine if anybody wants to reach out to her. You guys, she said she would send it to you for the cost of postage, which is so generous. Karen, that is so nice of you. So if anybody needs a copy, definitely, you know, check in with Karen. She's right in the comments. Thank you so much. Oh, and she also said, always, this was so great. Wonderful. Well, thank you guys for joining me. I hope you enjoy your weekend, and I will see you next week with sleeves, and I'm going to show you how to draft your sleeve. And I'll also have the review of the top down center out method up for Fit Tip Tuesday this week. So I'm having a ball nerding out with all of this pattern stuff. I'm so excited. But anyway, so I'm going to sign off now before I start rambling. Thank you guys for joining me, and have a lovely rest of your Friday. Okay, bye.